Zeke, the Squid. Callahan, narrating. Let me tell you something about justice in the year 2187. It doesn't exist, at least not for guys like me. My name's Zeke Callahan, aka the Squid, long story involving zero-gravity calamari, and I'm currently serving 3 life sentences in the Martian penal colony, aka the Red Rock. Now, was I technically guilty of hacking the interplanetary bank and diverting all of Earth's welfare funds to a feline retirement home? Yes, but in my defense, those cats deserved luxury. And also, the bank's security was laughable. But here's the kicker. I wasn't even the real hacker. I was just the guy who took the blame because my ex-girlfriend, Nova, set me up. She framed me, stole my identity, and then vanished into the outer rim with a smuggler named Captain Handsome. Yeah, real subtle, Nova. So there I was, sentenced to the Red Rock, the most miserable prison this side of the asteroid belt. Big Tony, chewing loudly. You ever tried Martian cheese squid? It's blue, like actually blue, and it squeaks when you bite it. Zeke. My cellmate Big Tony was a mountain of muscle with a heart of gold and a stomach of questionable decisions. His crime? Cheese smuggling. Not just any cheese. Earth cheese. The good stuff. The illegal stuff. Big Tony. See, back on Earth they got these regulations. Pasteurization, safety checks, blah blah blah. But out here, people want real cheese. The kind that might give you superpowers, or explode. Either way, worth it. Zeke. Then there was Professor Elliot Vanderson, aka the Mole. The man was a legend, a genius, a madman. Elliot, smooth, British, slightly smug. Ah, Zeke, I've been reviewing your file. Fascinating work with the feline pension fund. Terrible operational security, but still, impressive. Zeke. Elliot was in for unauthorized terraforming, which sounded fancy until you realized he'd accidentally turned a chunk of Venus into a giant pizza. Elliot. In my defense, the atmospheric processors clearly needed calibration. Warden Crux 7, hissing, reptilian. Callahan, you are pathetic, a stain on my prison, but you will dig, and you will obey. Zeke. Warden Crux 7 was a genetically modified lizard man with a temper shorter than a quantum fuse. He ran the Red Rock like his own personal gladiator arena, complete with death matches, which were technically against interplanetary law. But hey, Mars doesn't have a lot of lawyers. Oh, and he had a cyber parrot named Snitch. Snitch, robotic squawk. Escape attempt detected. Squawk, execute protocol, flay the flesh. Zeke. Yeah, charming bird. Elliot, whispering in the mess hall. Zeke, my boy, I've been studying this prison's architectural flaws for 6 years. The walls, cheap Martian concrete. The guards, lazy. The security drones, programmed by interns. Zeke. So, we escape. Elliot. Not we, you, because I have a better plan. Zeke. Which is? Elliot, grinning. We steal the warden's ship. The plan, Phase 1, dig like your life depends on it. Distraction. Big Tony would trigger a cheese riot by releasing a crate of illegal gorgonzola in the cafeteria. Excavation. Zeke would use a repurposed mining bot to dig a tunnel behind the laundry bots. Infiltration. Elliot would hack into the prison's mainframe and disable the turrets. Escape. They'd hijack the warden's personal shuttle, the Iron Scale, and blast off before anyone noticed. Big Tony. This is either brilliant or the dumbest thing we've ever done. Zeke. Both. Definitely both. Zeke. The plan almost worked. Big Tony, yelling in the cafeteria. Free cheese, unregulated cheese. Prisoners, chaotic cheering. Cheese! Warden Crux 7, roaring. What is the meaning of this? Snitch, flying in circles. Riot alert, activate taser mode. Zeke. Meanwhile, Elliot and I were knee-deep in a tunnel that smelled like old socks and regret. Elliot, just a little further. Ah, there, the maintenance shaft. Zeke, we popped out right under the warden's landing pad. Zeke, whispering. Okay, now we just... Guard drone, suddenly behind them. Halt. Intruders detected. Zeke, run. Zeke. What happened next was pure chaos. Elliot jammed the drone's signal with a stolen toothbrush, don't ask. I hotwired the shuttle while Big Tony distracted the guards by throwing cheese at them. And then, just as we were about to take off, Warden Crux 7, bellowing, Callahan! Zeke, punch it. Elliot, hitting the thrusters. Hold on to your kidneys. The shuttle lurched forward, barely missing the warden's outstretched claws. Snitch, fading into the distance. Traitors, squawk, you'll regret this. Epilogue. Legends never die, but they do get banned from Mars. Zeke, narrating years later. They never caught us. Big Tony opened a cheese smuggling empire on Europa. Elliot somehow became a legitimate terraforming consultant. Still not sure how he pulled that off. And me, well, let's just say I may have started a new feline retirement fund on Neptune. As for Warden Crux 7, rumor has it he still screams my name into the void every night. Warden Crux 7, distant, enraged. Callahan! Zeke, smirking. Miss you too, Warden. Zeke, narrating, years later, aboard a smuggler's ship. So yeah, we escaped. Became legends. The infamous Red Rock 3, me, Elliot, and Big Tony. But the universe has a funny way of keeping things interesting. Just when I thought my days of chaos were over, she walked, well, slithered, into my life. Zeke. We were running low on fuel near the Orion Dust Belt, a lawless stretch of space where smugglers and bounty hunters played hide-and-seek with the law. Elliot was tinkering with the hyperdrive. Big Tony was stress-eating space jerky, and I was just trying to not die. Then, bam, something slammed into our ship. Alarm blaring. Collision alert! Hull breach in Sector 4! Elliot yelling over alarms. Zeke, we've got a stowaway! Zeke. I grabbed the nearest weapon, a frying pan, don't judge, it works, and kicked open the cargo bay door. And there she was. Zeke, curled up in a nest of broken wiring, was a woman, sort of. She had smooth, iridescent blue skin, 6 delicate fingers on each hand, and eyes that glowed like nebulas. Mysterious alien woman, weakly. Please, don't hurt me. Zeke, dropping the frying pan. Hi. Big Tony, whispering. Dude, is that an alien? Elliot, examining her. Fascinating. Her biology is nothing like Earth's. Zeke, I think she's a Xanthari. Zeke, a what now? Elliot, a species from the Andromeda Expanse. They're telepathic. Xanthari woman, smirking. And you're thinking very loudly. Zeke, turns out her name was Lyra, and she wasn't just any Xanthari. She was a fugitive. Lyra. My people, we're hunters, but I didn't want to hunt, so I ran. Zeke. She'd stowed away on a smuggler's ship, which then crashed into ours. Classic meet cute, right? Big Tony. So, you're saying she's single? Zeke, ignoring him. Lyra was different. She didn't just see emotions, she felt them. And when she looked at me... Lyra, softly. You're loud, Zeke Callahan, but in a good way. Zeke, of course, it couldn't be that easy. 3 days later, a warship dropped out of hyperspace. Elliot, checking scanners. Oh dear, that's a Xanthari hunter scout. Lyra, panicked. They found me. Big Tony. Can we throw cheese at them? Zeke, grabbing Lyra's hand. Run. Zeke. What followed was the weirdest space chase of my life. We dodged psychic energy blasts, Elliot hacked their comms and played Space Polka to distract them. Big Tony actually threw cheese at them. It didn't work. And through it all, Lyra never let go of my hand. Lyra, between breaths. Zeke, if we survive this, I want to see Earth. Zeke, grinning. Deal. Zeke, we were cornered, trapped in the dead zone of a dying star. The Zenthari ship locked onto us. Zenthari commander, through comms. Surrender the fugitive or be destroyed. Lyra, tears glowing. Zeke, I can't let them take me. Zeke. Then, inspiration struck. Zeke, to Elliot. Remember how you turned Venus into a pizza? Elliot, slow grin. Oh, I like where this is going. Zeke. Elliot rerouted all our power into the atmospheric processors and fired a concentrated burst of cheese, tomato, and dough particles at the Zenthari ship. Lyra, laughing. What is happening? Zeke. Their ship's shields short-circuited from pure Italian cuisine. Zenthari commander, sputtering. My systems! They're delicious! Zeke, grabbing Lyra. Now's our chance! And then, right there, in the middle of a space battle, she kissed me. Lyra, telepathically. Took you long enough. Zeke, narrating years later. We got away. Lyra loved Earth, especially pizza. Turns out, Zenthari adore carbs. Elliot somehow got a Nobel Prize for culinary-based warfare. Big Tony opened a cheese-themed resort on Europa. And me? Well, let's just say I finally found someone who could keep up with me. Lyra, smirking. Loud and annoying. Perfect. Zeke, laughing. Love you too, space girl. Life with Lyra was perfect. Well, as perfect as it gets when you're a fugitive dating a psychic alien fugitive. We traveled the galaxy, dodged bounty hunters, and ate way too much space taco stand food. But then, boom, the universe decided to ruin everything. Lyra, her glow flickering nervously. Zeke, they're here. Zeke, peering out the viewport. A massive Zenthari dreadnought ripped out of hyperspace, its hull covered in glowing runes that basically screamed, "We're pissed." Zenthari warlord Vor-Ak echoing through comms. Lyra of House Zenthis, you have betrayed your kind. Surrender or be erased from existence. Big Tony, mouthful of nachos. Dude, that guy sounds like he doesn't even like cheese. Elliot, typing furiously. Worse, the Zenthari hate cheese. It disrupts their psychic harmony. Zeke, that explains so much. Zeke, we made a tactical retreat to the Neon Nebula, a spaceport where smugglers, mercs, and questionable diplomats hung out. If we were gonna survive, we needed allies. Lyra, there's a Zagorthian mercenary here. They hate the Zenthari. Zeke, the Zagorthians turned out to be 8-foot-tall, 4-armed lobster people with a serious grudge. Zagorthian Captain cracks, clicking mandibles. Zenthari scum! They once mind-read our sacred battle chants. For this, they must die. Zeke, great. So, alliance. Cracks, on one condition. Zeke, name it. Cracks, we fight in the pits of Rakar Prime. Zeke, wait, what? Zeke, turns out the Zagorthians settle disputes by throwing everyone into a gladiator arena filled with acid-spitting space scorpions. Lyra, glowing brighter in panic. Zeke, we are not prepared for this. Big Tony, cracking knuckles. I was born prepared. Elliot, pulling out a mysterious device. Good thing I brought the gravity inverter. Zeke, the what now? Elliot, smirking. You'll see. Zeke, the battle was chaos. Big Tony suplexed a Zagorthian into a Zenthari warrior. Lyra used her telepathy to make two enemies high-five each other mid-combat. Elliot activated the gravity inverter, sending everyone floating upside down. And me? I accidentally knocked over a sacred Zagorthian relic, which turned out to be a really old cheese wheel. Carax, suddenly emotional. Our holy fromage. Zeke, wait, you guys worship cheese. Carax, it is the core of our culture. Big Tony, tearing up. I've never related to aliens more in my life. Zeke, turns out nothing unites warring species faster than cheese-based revelations. Lyra, to the Zenthari warlord. Vor-Ak, you don't have to fight anymore. Vor-Ak, hesitating. But, tradition. Carax, holding up the cheese. Tradition is delicious. Join us, brother. Vor-Ak, after a long pause. Fine, but we're adding psychic seasoning. Zeke, narrating years later. And that's how the Galactic Cheese Accord was signed, ending a 1,000-year war between the Zenthari and Zagorthians. Lyra became the ambassador of flavor. Big Tony opened a cheese-themed intergalactic restaurant chain. Elliot won another Nobel Prize for diplomacy via dairy. And me? Well, I may have accidentally started a religion based on frying pans. Lyra, shaking her head. Only you, Zeke. Zeke, grinning. Hey, at least we're not in prison anymore. The actual final end.